I think that's another thing, I want the audience to pick up on this. A lot of my audience are people that want to start businesses or have a business, and sometimes they struggle with it. And one of the big things I do hear of people not starting businesses is because they have a family already. And I think the mistake they make, and the thing you're talking about there, I think what I want people to get, is that you should include your family in it. And they're part of the process. They're also taking a risk, right? So they should be involved. They're also part
Absolutely.
of it, and they learn so much. At 9 and 14, they can set the TV channels, as you say. Now, you could probably have hired someone to do that. There's also some teaching in there, right? There's some teaching in that too, and making them appreciate what's going on. And I just love this point. I think it's so important. That you started a business, you took a risk, even though you had children. You didn't let that stop you, and I think a lot of people do. And I understand why, because the responsibility is heavy. But equally, if you bring everyone in, like you're saying, I think it can be very rewarding. Do they have the same story? I wonder if you ask them, they're like, no, I was 9 years old and I wanted to play with my friends, and my dad made me go to the hotel and set the TV channels.
He made us work. Yeah. What kind of father was he? Yeah. But I think maybe one day, I hope maybe 10, 20 years later, they speak about this experience that they went through. And to me, it's a truly learning experience. When I was young, when I was working, when my father had his watch business, and he had the factories and so on. And my father would make us work on weekends and at an early age. And I went through the entire process of how a watch is made. I was sitting there, putting the watch straps on, putting stuff on, doing the whole assembly process, that I learned so much from the whole process. And this was almost every weekend in the summer. So, we were just a growing family, and, my father just learning through the whole ropes, and learning all of these things taught me a lot. So when I went to set up a factory in China the first time, people told me, they can only do, say, 200 or 250 straps or doing this a day. I said, no, I've done more. I know how the process works. This is what you need to do. And when they saw that the owner, the protagonist, knew what he was talking about, they didn't tend to believe it you more. So it's about just being able to do that. So I think when your kids have gone through the process, hey, you know what? This is what you need to go through. It carries a lot more weight.
Totally. I was reading about your history, which is absolutely fascinating. I'm going to put all the links to your website and your businesses in this podcast description. But I was looking in 1988, when you set up the factories in China, you were producing 500,000 watches per month. I mean, right. That's intense.
We went up to 1 million.
Wow, that's just incredible. Yeah.